I'm going to show you how to slash your fulfillment time from 3 days to just 5 minutes with this Gemini 3 Pro secret. So if you want to make passive income, gently tap the like and subscribe buttons and keep watching until the end, because I promise that this video will contain valuable information you won't find anywhere else. So now that we've secured the client, the next thing we need to do is actually build out the AI voice agent and deploy it for our client, right? So in order to do that, I have a bunch of tutorials on this, but this is just one of the many ones. And I'm not going to go over the entire thing. If you want to watch the video, I'm going to link to it, but I'm just going to glance over it real quick. So we've already done the full demo part. This is what we're going to show to our client in order to basically get them to sign a contract with us. Once they've done that, in order to actually deploy it, we're going to need to build two things. Number one is an AI voice agent. We typically do this using a platform such as called Vappy or Retail. It just makes it a lot easier for us to just not use any code, just put in some English, put in some assistant prompts in order to make it work really quickly. That usually takes about, a day or two. Okay. And then after that, we're going to need to do something called an automated workflow that's on the back end. You use platforms like N8N or Make to do that. I typically teach things like Vappy and N8N. But all you need to know for this is it takes about a day or two or sometimes 3 days to set this up for a client, even if you're experienced, right? And if you're not experienced, it might take like a week or maybe even a month. But the point I'm telling you this right now is that with the Gemini 3, you can actually do all this in just 5 minutes. And I'm going to show you exactly how. But before we get into that, we're gonna need to do like a smaller class on basically how AI works, how AI learns, and how it actually gives you the results that it does. So basically, we're gonna say what is the fastest way to learn something, right? Because actually, an AI basically works exactly the same way as a human does, right? We have a lot of experiences, we have a lot of I guess we learn a lot of knowledge throughout our lives, and it basically puts some information in somewhere in your brain, right? AI works the same way. It has a lot of information somewhere in the brain. It just connects different pieces, and that's how it comes up with the next word in order to create like a coherent sentence that actually makes sense, right? So basically, there are two ways to learn. Number one is explaining something, right? I could go on explaining to you for days about like what the rules are for example, like a drinking game, but it'd be really hard for you to understand unless I do number two, which is give you an example, right? Why do we do test runs? Why do we do trial runs? Why do we do practice runs, right? It's so much easier if you just watch it and you just see the patterns for yourself. It makes it so much easier to learn, right? So the same thing happens to AI. Is the best way to get AI to do exactly what you want is not by telling it what you want it to do, right? If you tell it what you want it to do, it might have a completely different interpretation and it might create something that you're not really looking for, right? But on the other hand, if you give it a working example, something that you know works for a fact, then all you need to do is say, okay, well, here is something that I know works for a fact. All I need for you to do is make slight changes to adapt it to whatever custom workflow that you're doing, right? And so in the case of this, the point that I'm telling you this is we need to start with something that we know for a fact does exactly what we need to do. Then we put that into Gemini 3 along with a little prompt saying, okay, well, adapt this to my new client use case, right? So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. First thing that we need to do is we need to go over to my school community because this is basically where I have all those templates. I've been doing AI for years, and this is why I'm so good at things like prompt engineering. I write all of my prompts manually because that's what I'm good at doing. But basically, I forgot to tell you. By the way, you could just go over here if you want to search for like a certain template to use. I'm just going to use this for the example. It's pretty good. Go ahead and copy the title. Go back to the school community. Links in the description, by the way, if you're not already part of the community. Go to search and then paste it into search. Click enter. And there it is. It's going to pop up right here. Go ahead and click into that. And then this is where all the files are. What we're looking for here is we're looking for the Vappy assistant prompt, right? Because that assistant prompt is what is going to be controlling the FAQ agent that we're actually going to put on this website. So we're going to look for a file called, I think it's called, correct. It's going to be called assistant prompt real estate.json. So go ahead and click on that, hit download. All right, we're going to copy it into our downloads folder. That's perfect. And by the way, you can do this for N8N as well. So the file for N8N is called appointment setter real estate JSON, and you can just download that. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is if you try to do this for in the past with Gemini 2.5 Pro, so right now, as you can see, I'm using Gemini 3 Pro. If you try using it doing Gemini 2.5 Pro, a lot of times it wouldn't actually work because Gemini 2.5 Pro is not smart enough to actually give you what it needs. But now it's actually smart enough, which is why this method actually works. And I'm going to show you exactly. So Basically, go to AI Studio once you've downloaded that file, and then we're going to write a prompt that looks something like this. We're going to give it the URL so that it's able to actually research that URL. By the way, you need to change the temperature to 0.4, and you also need to enable URL context and enable grounding with Google Search. That basically allows it to have the ability to search that URL for the information that you need. Okay. After that, I wrote just a really nice prompt. Obviously, you can design your own prompts, but this is just something that I just threw together really quickly that I know for sure works. Analyze this website to get all the information about the company, then analyze the attached assistant prompt line by line to understand the assistant prompt. And then, like I said earlier, this is the important part, okay? Adapt the example assistant prompts to create the perfect assistant prompt for an FAQ AI voice agent, right? Because as you can see over here, that's what we're creating, right? We're creating an FAQ AI voice agent for Planet 13. We're making sure we create all the context that the AI needs in order to give us the correct output. So, okay, going back over to here. Now, all that we need to do now is basically give it the assistant prompt. So just to recap, I know it might be confusing, but what we're doing here is we're doing something called context engineering. We're giving it the context that it needs to give us the output that we're looking for. We're giving it one, the URL to the website. Number two, we're giving it the assistant prompt. So I'm going to do that right now. Go to Finder, and then go ahead and take this file that we just downloaded and then drop it in. So make sure that you click and drag and drop over here. There it is. You can see it can load it up. So that's number two, is the assistant prompt. And then number three, you need to tell it what it needs to give you. So in this case, we're telling it to adapt all this information in order to give us the perfect assistant prompt for an FAQ AI voice agent. So I just gave all of the context that it needs to create the results that I want. So all you're going to do now is hit run, and it's going to be able to do that for you, okay? And obviously, once you see the output, it's just going to give you an assistant prompt. And as you know already from watching the tutorials, all you need to do is basically copy that and then paste it into the VAPI assistant prompt. I'm sure you guys all know how to do that. So we're just going to wait real quick to see what it gives us. All right, so it finished in just 27 seconds, which is absolutely crazy. All the other models would have taken like 90 seconds or something like this. So that's literally 3 times faster. And here's what it said, okay? We have adapted the perfect assistant prompt for the Planet 13 FAQ and Concierge AI agent, okay? And so yeah, it gave 24/7 hours, shuttle policies, all that. So basically all we're going to do is we're going to copy this and put this into our assistant prompt in VAPI, and voila. That's how you do it in just 5 minutes. This is how you cut down your development time from a couple days to just 10 minutes or whatever it is, right? So that's absolutely amazing. In my next video, I'm going to show you how to vibe code super cool conversational AI voice agents like this one in just 5 minutes with Gemini 3. So if you're not already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And as always, if you have any questions, make sure you go to my school community and go ahead and post a question over here real quick. Now make sure you get all the help that you need. All right. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.